This year was intense for Battlefield 6. Battlefield Labs launched in March, recently left pre-alpha and entered alpha. Now we are rushing towards an early August beta. That cycle will now come to an end fast, as EA has basically confirmed in a legal document disclaimer that the game is coming out October 10th, 2025 and will not be available on all gen systems or the Nintendo Switch 2. If you're still playing on those consoles, well, you have about 2 months left to upgrade. I have been saying the game will come out in October or November since as early as March. Considering how long it has been since we had a new Battlefield game, EA was rushing to release this year no matter what state Battlefield 6 was in. I believe the March 2026 window was never an option for a release when you have EA as your bosses. While not unheard of for a Battlefield game to launch in March, it isn't the holiday season EA is hoping for. Then we have Call of Duty pressing EA as well, with the launch of the next title of the FPS giant rumored to be early November. EA really only has October as an option if it was to come this year, or so they think. If Battlefield 6 is in dire state during the open beta period, maybe they could delay until December and hope Call of Duty will suck and people will quit and play Battlefield 6 in a month after Call of Duty's release. Here's the thing though, I'm pretty sure Call of Duty is hoping that the exact same thing happens with Battlefield 6 as well if the launch in October. However, in the trailer wars, Battlefield 6 is winning as of right now, which is a nice sight to see. I believe even if Battlefield 6 will be a decent game, they will have to inevitably share the player base with Call of Duty. Most of the creators they will bring to the reveal event of Battlefield 6 are COD creators nowadays anyways, who when Call of Duty is out 1 month after Battlefield 6 will of course go check that game out and bring their viewers with them to Call of Duty. So I think either way, EA is gonna have to compete with Call of Duty for both its creators and the players. You might ask yourself, wait Ace, why are you telling me those things? Who cares? If Battlefield 6 is gonna be amazing, we will have players. And I will answer, we sure will have players, but will we have 100 million players? Not even close. This will be a danger window for Battlefield 6. If EA can swallow their pride after Battlefield 6 is out and gathers the usual crowd and not a number which I believe Battlefield 6 is not able to achieve, I think we're good. Because you have to remember, this will be a live service game. They live and die based off of the content and updates we received. So I hope EA doesn't use the "you didn't get 100 million players" as an excuse to axe Battlefield 6 after they seemingly rushed into an October launch just to beat Call of Duty. I believe the game might do well outside of Call of Duty and Battlefield Echo Chambers. I mean, think about it. It has good aesthetics, it sounds decent, it has a campaign with what seems to be a story based on the Civil War movie. If they nail the UI, I think normers might love this game, which is good for us. Even if the normies don't end up playing the multiplayer, they bought the game for the single player and maybe funded some content for us in the multiplayer via the live service model. Battlefield 1 was doing well for the exact same reasons, even while carrying the risky burden of being a World War I game, which wasn't everybody's cup of tea back then. So the fact they mostly nailed that aspect of Battlefield 6 gives them some leeway to polish gameplay where possible just before the launch in October. The open beta will be a very good sign of where gameplay might lag or feel not very meaningful. But we shouldn't kid ourselves. If there is major design flaws, those are coming in the launch version as well. I'm certainly speaking about balanced things here. However, I remain optimistic for now. Battlefield 6 also went live on Steam earlier today. Their Steam page says the following about the game. Lock and load for the ultimate all-out war experience. Fight in high-density infantry combat, rip through the skies in aerial dogfights. Demolish your environment for a strategic advantage. In a war of tanks, fighter jets and massive combat arsenals, your squad is the deadliest weapon. This is Battlefield 6. It's just really annoying you need EA launchers still if you purchase the game on Steam. Really hope one of gaming's next achievements is to somehow make it you don't need 4 launchers to launch a freaking game. I think it's safe to say Battlefield 6 is moving in the right direction, even with my mixed opinions of the gameplay from Battlefield Labs. I think the entire Battlefield community can agree we are just happy to get away from this guy and get something more realistic now. You guys remember when Call of Duty had all those futuristic games back in mid-2010s, then when Activision showed people a more realistic experience with Modern Warfare in 2019, they got a massive surge of players, sales, and even more exposure than they had ever before. Maybe this is what will now happen to Battlefield with the new game. I think DICE has set a stone now with the trailer as well. There was a time when Battlefield was perceived as the next-gen game in its graphics, sound design, and gameplay innovation. I think we can all agree when you would compare Battlefield 2042 and Battlefield 5, the last 2 entries, there was a clear downgrade on those points in the successor of Battlefield 5. But now we can with clear confidence declare that Battlefield 6 hard-diffed Battlefield 2042 in that area. We needed that win in that department, and now we charge into the open beta. I have to admit I'm quite excited to try it. I covered these leaks for 6 or 7 months now and I didn't play a single second of Battlefield Labs. However, because of what I saw during my coverage of the leaks, I know what to expect for the most part. So when I do finally try the beta, granted I am allowed to record and make content about it, I know where to look first to see if we received some improvements. And if not improvements, at least signs they're working on those issues. I do think gameplay issues can be resolved quick if EA lets them, and if they themselves will not be too hot-headed. But since we are getting closed weapons playlist in the open beta, I would wager they're not hot-headed. The only demon left in the whole room is SBMM, the dread of mankind. I'm getting a little bit anxious about it. We haven't heard much since David Sirlin told people that Battlefield 6 SBMM will not be like Call of Duty's, and will act more as some type of a team balancer. I tried to describe SBMM to a casual friend who didn't play Battlefield since Battlefield 4 and has no clue what I'm talking about. I told him, imagine logging on Battlefield 4 right now 13 years later, and you find the final Operation Locker server. He was a Locker player. All the sweats and exploiters of the movement bugs stacked on one team. You ended up on the team that's getting demolished. You can't switch and you can't really leave since it's the only server left and you really want to play Locker. He started laughing and said, no way it's like that, but I digress. I can't even begin to fathom what a disaster this will be on regions that aren't called Europe and historically struggle for players 6 months or so after launch of a new Battlefield game. I'm pretty sure if you ask any Aussie player how it feels playing Battlefield 4 for them on one server they have left, I'm positive they would say, as you're right on the money, it's absolute cancer. Matchmaking even without SBMM will be rough on those regions. Inevitably, if you like Battlefield 6, you will have to take a handicap and try to queue Europe or something, just to find a match and then lag your brains out. This is the reality for those players. It's often overlooked, but I see you, I understand, and I'm sorry you have to deal with it. I think it's safe to say if we don't feel SBMM during the open beta of Battlefield, which will be using matchmaking playlists, we're probably not gonna get it on launch and we will most likely never see it in Battlefield past that point. If they were to test it and implement it, it'll be in this big game, this big comeback game from EA and DICE. So if we don't see it, I think we're good for probably forever, and God bless. I think SBMM would cause irreversible damage to Battlefield 6 and Battlefield as a franchise. Just cannot implement SBMM in this 32 versus 32 random combined arms casual experiences. There's just so many random factors to account for. The vehicles, the map size, who is playing in a squad, who isn't. It's freaking impossible to balance out with SBMM. It would just be absolute cancer to play. And luckily, Delta Force already showcased to us what SBMM feels like in a combined arms 32 versus 32 game with vehicles. And we know why that game is dead. So Battlefield 6, if it doesn't go this route, we are good, I think, forever. And I think the franchise, at least from that demon, is going to be saved for the time coming. And that's good. I'm getting a little bit melancholic watching my own gameplay of Battlefield 3 because I just realized this might be some of the final times I've ever played Battlefield 3 in my life. Once Battlefield 6 open beta is out, if I'm allowed to record that game, I will get so much footage that I'm basically good before launch. So I don't have to deal anymore with admins, with server abuse, with team balancing, with this, with that, with KPM limiters, KD limiters, SPM caps, and all this other garbage that these trash admins put on their servers. So in that regard, I am kind of happy I don't have to play these old Battlefield games anymore, but still, I think these are great games. It is how it is with the server browsers, right? We have SBMM with the matchmaking, and with the server browser, we have also bad apples with the server badness. With that being said, guys, if you enjoyed watching this video, then please consider leaving a like and a comment. I will be covering Battlefield 6 extensively. If you want to keep in touch with that game and get weapon guides, tank guides, guides for literally everything you can imagine, even the UI guides, everything, then subscribe for future content. I really appreciate you being with me since I started covering Battlefield Labs. It's going to be a little bit rough for me covering the content now that everybody's back, but I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing because I really enjoying doing this. And I really hope I see you guys in the beta. I'm not sure yet on which account I'm gonna play the beta, but I'm sure you will see me there. So maybe we can even squad up. Guys, I'll see you in a couple of days to report maybe some new news about Battlefield 6. Until then, I wish you a very good day. Bye bye.